become a successful exporter, quickly grow your company and earn in dollars using what I call a multi-channel sales system. There's one thing I can tell you guys for sure. I don't know those that are here. I see a lot of coppers here. This event is supposed to be for businesses who are ready to go into export. And I hope the coppers are going to be able to do that shortly. But there's no other way to grow your business that you can grow 5, 6, 7, 10 times if you don't go into export. That is a given, no matter what it is you do. You know, the Nigerian market is very competitive, it's saturated, and there has to be other ways. Now, the essence of what I do is very simple, helping companies to build wealth through export. And we don't do this just for Nigerian companies. I work with companies from virtually all over Africa. You know, we are even getting a lot of interest from Middle East and, you know, so many places. And the key thing is, look, we are trying to help you, your product to become a potential Amazon bestseller. And there's a lot going on platforms like Amazon. And it's about time Nigerian companies tap into that. You can have retail and wholesale distributions for your products all over the USA. And it's amazing. You know, we have companies that we started with. Within a month, they are already earning in dollars. Their products are sold out. You know, so you build a good credit facility. As you begin to export, it becomes easy for you to go and ask for higher credit facilities to move your business to the next level. You will never worrying about sales team. You know, some of the challenges that I see businesses face is the issue of, you know, how do you grow your sales? And those are some of the things that we are going to be dealing with here. Now, why is the solution that we use different? Number one is it's practical based. You know, when I mean it is use, and you can actually start exporting. We have people that have come into our system, and within 30 days, they are actually exporting. Tools for success. You have things that you can plug in figures into, and it tells you what to do. You know, a lot of times, you've had people go for various trainings, staying with offices in Houston and Atlanta. We've shipped, when I say thousands of shipments between the US and Africa, say, we have all it takes. You know, we work with the NEPC. That's the former ED of NEPC. When they gave us a grant with a mandate to help 500 Nigerian businesses to have their products on Amazon. As we speak now, I think we're about 20% of that, which is about 80-something businesses as of now. You know, I'm going to skip through a lot of things just because of time. All right, so most of you have not been successful with exports, you know, because you've been doing it the wrong way. You know, family, friends, you know, so when it comes to exports, to help them sell their products in the USA, and it works a little, but it doesn't work for a long time. That to hire consultants, you know, I was at a company, one of the companies that we are helping, and you know, the CEO took me to a room. They call it their strategy room, and in that room they had a huge big board where they had mapped out the process that they were going to be using for export. And she told me that that process has not worked. They paid literally millions to the consultant that came to set up that process. You know, so it's not about theory, it's about knowing the practical steps to follow. Some have gone for trade shows, conferences. A lot of you are doing social media and so many things. Okay, so that is that. Um, all right, so we use a process to helping companies to start export. We use a four-step process, and this is a process that we have developed not because um, we just came up with it. It's a process that we have seen successful companies that are into export using. Now, the process is in four stages. One is what we call the wealth finder. The other is the wealth branding, wealth transfer, and the multi-channel sales system. And I'll talk about this as we go along. I'm going to start with the last one, what we call the multi-channel sales system. And this is a little story. This is what I used to start my export business. So I came in at one time from the US and I was in traffic. As I was in traffic, I saw a little gentleman who was selling these things. And I called him, I bought the items, and I told him, do you have more? And the next day, he came to my office with about 20, 25 of these, and I bought all of them. And while in Nigeria, then I tried to put these things on Amazon to sell. Obviously, it was very complex, because Amazon will not, they were asking for so many things, confirmation. It's a hassle. Trying to sell there. And then as soon as I got back to the US, I was able to list it. I ended up selling them 5 to 10, about 7 times what I paid for it here. And in the process of that, anytime I came to Nigeria, I looked for things to buy, sell, and the money was good. And then I asked myself, there are so many Nigerian companies, so many African companies out there who are doing so well, making products that are way better than this, but they don't have the channel, they don't have the access to sell these products, And that was when it occurred to me that, look, we can actually help African companies to make a lot of money selling this. So what did we do? Amazon, the biggest online platform, I believe we all know that, over 500 million registered buyers, 200 million of them shop monthly, 45%. And that value is increasing every day. 45% of online shopping in the USA now happens through Amazon. Now, let's take a look at some of these figures so that you begin to understand the level of what we are talking about. Take a look at that first one. What you see here is just a simple short knicker selling on Amazon. How much are they making on a monthly basis? About $498,000 on a monthly basis. Now, this is a simple bracelet, about 42,000. And then when you talk about fashion, it's not only for people. Look at animals too. Look at how simple that is. Look at what they are doing on a monthly basis. So again, that is where you have the bias. Now, I included this because, export is not just about black soap in Igbo. I think is it Nchude or something like that? Ncha. Nchankota. That is what they are doing. That company is in Ghana. In fact, us to do these things for them in Ghana. So, I don't want to go into that, but look at chairs, simple chairs, $146,000 a month. And what we are talking about here is the fact that we have a lot of African companies who are just sitting down there suffering. They cannot, a lot of Nigerian companies who have potentials. They have good things that they can do, but they don't know how to get these products to the next level. Okay, the solution works basically for any product you are talking about. So whether it is fashion, leather, woodwork, art and craft, basically anything. But yes, today is a fashion show, and I believe most of us here are into fashion. The question is, how do you get your fashion products exported so that you begin to benefit from some of these huge potentials? So again, we started, the COVID hit 2020. Our warehouses in the USA was shut down, so we couldn't do much. And then I said, let me go to YouTube and start teaching people how to export. And that's how we started. And within a short time, we had people sending products to us to put it on Amazon. And they're making money. But the challenge was a lot of them did not know the process. So we had people in fashion who were sewing clothes, and they will put Mickey Mouse logo on the brand, and they ship it to the US for us to sell on Amazon. Obviously, Mickey Mouse is a trademark product, so because of that, it was virtually impossible to sell those items. Then, so how do you sell it? There are two ways. Either you send it to Amazon's warehouse, of which there are people doing it, or you put it on Amazon, they buy, and you ship to them. Now, because of time, I'm not going to be able to explain all this correctly, but I hope you have an idea of the potentials that we are talking about. Okay, so with time, what houses in the USA, when they sent their products, right? We shipped it, we warehoused it, shipped it to Amazon on their behalf. Those are our warehouses, Houston and Atlanta. But there was a certain lady, she is into honey. Again, we're talking about export, and this could apply to virtually anybody. And when she sent her honey to us, we had it selling on Amazon. And then you had people who will buy it and then reach out to us and tell us, look, we like the honey. These are Americans. And they are like, can we sell in wholesale to them? And then what we now discovered was that, instead of just having the product sitting down there in the warehouse waiting until it goes to Amazon, we can actually open up different channels to sell these products. And that's what we started doing, what we call a multi-channel sales system. Now, we are able to sell it to a lot of African stores. There are many African stores, over close to 2 products from Africa to sell. But a lot of them don't know how to get it, especially from Nigeria. A lot of them are relying on places like Ghana to get their products. And if you look at what is happening, it is, labor. Well, let's not go too much into that because of time. Now, we now decided to help them to find buyers. So we now have a department that will help them find buyers, dispatch it, as well as what we call a sales funnel. I'm not going to go too deep into all this because of time. The essence of this event was for you to benefit, but because of, so many factors. So I'm going to skip some of this. Export to wealth. So basically, this is what we call the multi-channel sales system, and companies are using it. Now, I'm not going to, wealth transfer deals with the process of actually moving the products from here to the USA. Now, let me go back a little. One of the things you will see is, I'm sure we all know that man, President. The man did so much for Africa. When he started putting the embargoes on Chinese companies, products that were coming into the US from China. So let me give an example. He increased the levies, taxes, and duties on Chinese companies from the normal value to between 25 to 35%. So if you had a shipment coming from China that has a value of about $100,000, they will pay duties of 25 to 35,000. If you have that same shipment coming from Africa, countries that are AGOA eligible, of which Nigeria is one, they are going to pay absolutely zero duties. So what that means is that a lot of the American companies are now looking for companies in Africa to do business with. Nigeria, we've not been able to take hold of that. It's the biggest. You have a lot of companies that have products, but they don't know where to sell it. And when I say they don't know where to sell it, they don't know where, they don't know how to sell it, where they are able to make a lot of money. So again, all these products we are talking of, America is a gold mine to sell these products. I'm not going to talk too much on this as well. Again, I'm gonna because of time, I don't want that will not work here again, So I'm just gonna step quickly through this. Again, there's what we call the Wealth Finder process, which is a process where we look at your product and we help you configure it and I'm not going to go into all this. Let me give a sample of some of the people that are in Nigeria that are actually working. They are following the process that we talk about now. And, just last month or so in August, about 5 different variations of these products. In less than 30 days, all their products sold out. They are now shipping about 5 times what they started with. So again, I'm going to end my presentation here because, time and all those factors, I don't want to let it be like I took the time of every other person. But what I can tell you is that, look, there is a huge potential. A lot of the products that I see out there, there's a guy that I saw out there selling perfume oil. And when you look at the bottle that he sells for 1,000 naira, that is about $1.30. That same bottle sells for about $9.99 in the USA. Which means that man can literally take his earnings from $1 to almost $10. And that is the same thing you see across many products here. When your country has low currency value, what happens? Your products become better. You are better off selling it abroad. So again, thank you for the opportunity. I wish, things were the way it was supposed to be, but obviously not. Anybody that has questions, I'm available until, when I leave. But again, thank you for the opportunity.
More music on trendbeats.com.
Wow. Of course, that presentation was from our key speaker here at the masterclass. It's still Anambra Fashion Expo 2022. But I think the round of applause was not good enough. Let's give him a bigger round.
That's more like it. And from everything, we could tell that he had so much that he wanted to say, a lot. And just from the few that he already said, definitely I went home with a lot of things, learning that You have to, as whatever you do, okay, let's narrow it down to fashion because we're celebrating fashion today.
That's right.
As a fashion designer, as an investor in fashion, looking towards exporting African fashion, there are right channels to do it. And if you've been doing it in any of those wrong ways that he mentioned, you could go meet him right now. So he explains in details better. Thank you so much to the chief speaker, wonderful chief speaker who's come out here to address us.
Of course. We appreciate you, sir, Nduka Ude, for this interesting time. And we hope to learn more as we go on. Yes,
Truly.
Because we have the panel discussion. But just in case you have questions, I think we need more volume on this mic. Can we have that? Please, I know they're listening. We need more volume on this. Okay. We're going straight to the panel discussion. So I believe the stage will be set for that before we invite our speakers, the discussants, to join us on stage for the panel discussion. We have some of them already in the house. We have them, and they will be telling us, taking this to the next level. Some of the things already mentioned
True.
will be dissected and analyzed. So if you have questions, you can put them down, just so that when we get to the Q&A session, you'll possibly post your question and get an answer. Okay, ushers, please help us.
Yeah,
Let's
please, we
get
need the
some
ushers to
some
help us
chairs
with
upstage.
just three chairs on the stage. Or maybe make it 4 or 5 still. Much better. Make it 5. 5 chairs on the stage. Please, the ushers, help us immediately. So we're about to get the stage set for the discussants. Because of time constraints, we're trying to make it as fast as possible.
You know, the thing about any enterprise you're into is to scale, right? To get better at what you do, to scale and to make more money. So I'm hoping that by the end of this panel discussion, that we'll find the pathway from whatever you're doing and whatever you're looking out to do. I believe that you'll also see a bigger picture as you listen to the panelists. And the good thing about what the key speaker said was that he told us about the endless possibilities. And hey, it's not just about fashion. That is why anyone who does business can actually benefit from this masterclass. All you need to do is to open your mind and be open to the endless possibilities.
Yeah, just like if he said, for the endless possibilities, you need to have your mind open. Okay, right now we have a stage set for our discussants right now. Please, right now, if you have any questions, if you listen so far, just put it down. You can put it out on paper, put it down on your phone. Very soon, we'll reach out.
That's right.
Yeah, for the Q&A sessions.
The ushers are there, so you can actually put down your question, get started.
Okay, so we have some of our discussants already in the building and ready to take the stage. We're going to be welcoming them. Please do well to put your hands together for our discussants. We're having the first discussant join us on stage right now in the person of Lillian Chukwuma.
Please put your hands together for Lillian.
Lillian Chukwuma.
And please, an usher should get her up stage. Thank you. Assist her, please.
Please
assist her.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lillian. Keep clapping.
Please
still.
Put your hands together for
comes.
while she makes her way to the stage here.
Thank you. Thank you. Keep clapping. Keep clapping. Keep clapping. You're welcome, Lillian. Thank you.
An amazing lady. Thank you so
please.
much. Thank you. Thank you.
And joining Lillian here on stage, we have Ndubisi Achebe. Give it up for him, please, as he comes. He's from Fidelity Bank, of course. Keep clapping Fidelity Bank was one of the major brands that powered this event. Thank you so much, Ndubisi Achebe, representing
so much,
Fidelity Bank
Ndubisi.
PLC. You're welcome.
Yes, and we'll be moving straight up to having our
One more person joining us. And as we go on, we're definitely going to have more persons join. At any point, they join us. They can definitely come chip in something.
okay.
Yes, but just everyone is not here yet, but we hope that they join us. We have Chioma Budimpa. Please give her a round as she joins us on stage. Thank you. She's still coming. Keep clapping, keep clapping, keep clapping, keep clapping. The more you clap, the more they dish out more info.
A very beautiful and knowledgeable
Yeah.
young lady.
We really have to encourage them to give us everything they came with.
There's a multiple award-winning author.
Welcome, Chioma. Okay.
Okay.
All right, so just going to settle down and get down into the discussion.
Down to the discussion.
Yeah.
But if we, okay, kid. Before we go, straight into the
Yeah.
discussion.
Okay, in case you're just coming in, thank you. This is our Fair 2022, holding right here, the International Convention Center, Oka, Anambra State. This is the debut of the Fashion Expo. This is the very first time it's happening here in Oka, Anambra State. And we hope that if you're watching us from wherever you're watching us, we need you to input in the comment section your location. Tell us where you're watching from and your impression of this event. Thank you so much for tuning in. For everyone who is here in the hall, let
And
us
those
tell the
streaming
world
online.
that we are right here. Let us give a big shout of our Fair 2022. Woo! Yeah,
All right,
that's the spirit.
If you also, I think I would love the chief speaker, yes, to join in this discussion. Please go to ushers, help us with one more chair, and please, we'd love to have the chief speaker join us in the discussion as well. Mr. Nduku, please join us on stage. The ushers, help me with one more chair. Please join us on stage 4.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. So we're going to drink more from the wells of wisdom and ideas of the personalities represented on this stage. I mean, if you're here in the hall, you are very privileged because you're living here much, much, much better than you came.
Very true. Very true. I've learned a little myself from Mr. Nduku's speech here and, made a whole lot of... But right now, moving to the discussion proper.
Or maybe just to do a bit of the profiles, just to
Yes.
mention a few about everyone who is on stage.
Okay.
Before we get started, at least let's know who is who. Chioma, seated right beside me, is a multiple award-winning author and entrepreneur, the CEO of Red Button, a premier fashion company creating sustainable alternatives in apparel and accessories for professional women. Woo! So good to have you, Chioma. And of course, we also have Lillian. Yes, ladies first. Okay, Lillian is the founder and chief designer, Lily's House of Creation, a registered fashion brand here in Anambra State. Lillian, it's so good to have you on this panel.
Please put your hands together.
And of course, our key speaker. I'm sure Kamsi wants to jump on that.
Yes, our chief speaker we already, the portfolio is quite a long one, on the profile right here is a long one. But he already did a brief introduction, so I will just quickly want to stand on the existence of protocol.
Yes,
because
just to remind that he
Yes.
is the MD CEO of Export and Sell. He was the MD CEO of Export and Sell, rather presently,
Presently,
right?
yeah.
Export and Sell LLC, Houston, Texas, USA, and the MD CEO. All right, that is his portfolio. Thank you so much, sir. And we also have the rep. I think you have to introduce yourself because, of course, you're from Fidelity Bank, but we need to know exactly who Mr. Ndubisi is, right, guys? Everybody, we need to know Mr. Ndubisi.
Good afternoon. I'm Ndubisi Achebe. I'm with Fidelity Bank. I'm the branch leader in One Navy branch. I'm an SME banker, so that's why I'm here. So because this is an SME event, so that's why I'm here. Thank you.
Okay, for those who are looking to get funding for your event, I'm sure you're happy that Mr. Ndubisi is here. Okay, let's get this started.
Okay, so looking quickly into the brochure for everybody that has a brochure here, just directly under the page 3, our masterclass, then you see the speakers. Then there are 3 keywords there: creativity, commercialization, and skill. And we're going to base this discussion just briefly around, these 3 key elements, which we believe is also what will take any brand from where it is to where it is meant to be, or where it hopes to be. And I'm going to start off just close to you with Ms. Chaba there.
Okay,
Yes.
Chioma.
Okay, so let's start off with the first, item there: creativity. You're obviously a creative, multiple award-winning book author, also an entrepreneur, amongst every other thing. What would you think, or what would you say is one of the greatest problems? Let's address problems before we look into solutions. Problems of creatives, especially in the kind of the creative industry generally, fashion, book writing, and all of that. What we think is the greatest problems? Or we could narrow down to fashion because we're at a fashion event. The problems around it.
Okay, I was asking if no man na Swibo. Maka asukata go boy ibu na Lagos ika agugom. So can na tuni ibu obere. Yeah? Good afternoon. Is it afternoon yet? Yes. Good afternoon, everybody. Okay, sorry. Thank you very much for the opportunity. I'm really excited to be here. Abonya Daziani, Anambra State, and I'm happy that this occasion has brought to life what we are about in this side of the country. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a fashion entrepreneur. I run a fashion company called Red Button. So what we do is that we produce female apparel, especially for professional women. So I started this company in 2017 just to address the challenges around African women wearing boring clothes to work. I worked in multinational companies, and during my time, working, I realized that, fashion was a bit stiff at that time. So it's like you're wearing a black dress or a blue dress or, something. Africa fashion wasn't really a thing in 2017, especially in the professional setting. And that's exactly why I decided to launch my business. So I'm going to talk about the challenges in creativity and what is actually stifling African, or rather fashion designers across Nigeria not growing into the global brands that we see around the world. Now I'm talking about this because Eben Bido, Abreben Nokita, and whatever it is you're doing now is a stepping stone to where you're going. So don't think that where you are now, you're not supposed to be here. Where you are now is exactly where you're supposed to be. The important thing is that you're taking the lessons, you're taking the experience, you're taking the network, you're building the network of people, you're taking the platforms that you've been on, you're using all of this experience to empower yourself for the next level. Now, the major problem, and it's quite sad, the major problem that we have in creativity is education. It doesn't have to be formal education. And I'm saying this because I have only moved from where I was to where I am now because I've invested in empowering myself, educating myself, in the fashion industry. Ọ bụrụ onye ọbụla ga-akwa akwa. Ọ bụrụ onye ọbụla ga-ele akwa. Right? Ọ bụrụ onye ọbụla ga-eme wig and makeup. Eke olu eke. Right? And there are so many things you can do in the fashion industry. Right? There are so many things. Now, they have it. This is the generation of technology. Why are we not exploring technology to scale the fashion that we are into? Why are we not using technology to reach the ends of the earth, basically, right? Gen Z, I know that there are a lot of Gen Zs here. This is your age. You have been empowered with the internet. There are so many opportunities on the internet that you're not taking advantage of. For instance, when I started my company, I just thought, okay, so you know, and that's why I said where you are is okay. Take the experience and keep going. I started to research what else can I do in this industry to, you know, to differentiate myself from every other person. Makeup. There has to be something else, right? There has to be something else before you. I mean, the only way to be extraordinary is to stand out. That's the only way. So do some research, find out exactly the loopholes in the industry or the opportunities that you have that people are not paying attention to. Plug into those opportunities. And I'll give you just a few examples. Just practical example. One example, she said one. One example is there's pattern making. Go and learn how to use technology to create patterns and start selling them in dollars. So many fashion companies all over the world are looking for pattern makers. This is your generation. Pattern making is design, right? Also can break it down. And we all kick out where pencil, let's say the aqua, right? Man, on kending boche pencil, kita edge technology, the aqua, right? So go and do some research and find out which technology you can use to draw patterns and illustrate your designs and start selling them on the internet. So the major challenge I see is in creativity, is education, research, and development. Thank you.
And while she was speaking, please give it up. Woo! On a high note. While she was speaking, we heralded the arrival of the CEO, Aura Designs Global. Of course, you know, Aura is a global brand. And she is also the convener, Anambra Fashion Expo 2022.
Please put your hands together. Put your hands together.
For Adora Soludo. Woo! Please, I think they didn't see you.
Please you could just stand and wave.
Woo! Please.
She made this possible.
Thank you. Thank you for all you do for African fashion. Welcome. Okay. And now we're still talking creativity. And now we want to hear it from our key speaker. We want to hear for those who want to be seen and heard across the world. The challenge of doing something different that everybody wants, because you gave us examples. When I was looking at your slides, I said, hey, gosh, what do I produce? I began to ask myself, what can I do, right? I know somebody there, seated there, is asking, what can I do, right? So we need to know, open our minds to possibilities.
Thank you. When you talk about going global, I think there are two key things that I believe is the secret. One is knowledge, just like she said. You know, I'm not going to expatiate more on that because she's already touched on the knowledge, you know. And I can tell you for a fact, a lot of that knowledge is available online. You know, if you are an entrepreneur in the current century, YouTube ought to be your friend. Because there's so much knowledge from learned people, people who have made mistakes, that is available on YouTube for you to tap into. Now, apart from knowledge, the second most important thing is focus. So when I say focus, you see, one of the big issues I see a lot of entrepreneurs make is trying to do too many things, you know. So, for example, you have somebody who is in the fashion industry, and they are trying to sew all types of clothes, from boys to children to men to adult to animal to everything. You see, when you do too much, you can never become an expert in a particular field. And where you begin to be recognized is when you become an expert in a particular field. There is no time you go out there and you see them talking about somebody and they say, this person is an expert in shoes, is an expert in this, is an expert in women's clothes, is an expert in this. No. If you are going into fashion and you want to focus on women undies, for example, it's $1 billion market. I'm telling you. I'm talking about just women's underwear. Focus on that. Don't try to, today you sew this, tomorrow you sew this. There's a lady I met at an event organized by Lagos Business School, and I'll tell you what she's into. And when I analyzed her business, I told her, look, you are creating a niche that has the potential to go global. What she is doing is she's creating fashion wear to spice up relationships in the house. So, for example, I don't mean to be, I don't mean to, be a little, but I will explain it because that tells you what we're talking about when we're talking about focus and a niche. So she has dresses that, it splits somewhere here. So, when you want to be romantic and you don't need to go through a lot of process.
Like
but
laundry,
I'm telling you, yes,
laundry,
something like,
okay.
yeah, it's like a nightgown, but it has openings and all that. So that is a niche. If you focus, I can tell you, if you focus on a niche, become known in that niche, the sky is the limit. Don't try to do everything. Don't try to do women's clothes and at the same time you are sewing men's clothes. You are sewing this. No. Focus on one niche. So if you are talking about expansion, again, like I said, knowledge, she talked a lot on that. Find a niche, focus on it, continue to drive with that focus.
Sustain the drive. Thank you so much. And now, Kamsi, please, let's hear from her.
Okay.
Let us Lillian will tell us about the fashion industry in Anambra. Tell us the story in brief, because a lot of people seated here want you to tell their story. So you're representing the Anambra fashion sector. So tell us, what are the issues with creativity? And are people reaching out to the rest of the world?
Thank you very much. Oh, I'm glad to be here today. This is our long-awaited dream come true. So I say congratulations to everybody, both the fashion lovers and all the fashion designers in Anambra State. Yes, fashion design is very competitive, they say, and fashion business is evolving. Yes, talking about the fashion in Anambra State, we are fashion lovers. Of course, you cannot compare in fact, we are fashion inclined. If you check the number of fashion designers that we have in Anambra State, as well as fashion lovers, the fashion enthusiasts, they are high. So I say that in Anambra State, we love fashion a lot, especially the women. We love fashion in Anambra State, and every day fashion houses are birthed. There is proliferation of fashion houses in Anambra State, as well as the fashion enthusiasts as well.
Okay, and there is huge potential.
Of course.
All right. Okay.
Oh, thank you so much. I would have preferred if Lillian could have some more time to tell a more detailed story of probably how she started up and how we got into where we are today. But right now, I want to speak to Mr. Ndubisi, but we'll be taking a segue right now from creativity to commercialization. The first thing I heard from you was SME. And whenever people hear SMEs, everybody thinks about something very abstract. But the truth is, SMEs is what you're doing, what every other person is doing, being able to grow your business, small and medium scale enterprises.
When I
and
hear that, I
businesses.
think about loans.
Yeah, people think about
Getting
loans. And that gets me to the point. A lot of young people here who are creatives, who are tailors and fashion designers of their kinds, look to understand why a company like yours, Fidelity, and every other company that helps SMEs when they do, what are the steps? How do they get this help that they need? What is it easy? Is it difficult? If it's easy, how can they easily get it? Just a very detailed, talk will help better, because I'm sure people want simple terms now.
I would like to inject something. Tell us one or two examples of how your company has intervened in the fashion ecosystem
for
in Anambra.
existing entrepreneurs as well.
Yes.
Okay, Fidelity Bank, naturally, we are an SME-friendly bank, and creatives naturally fall into that pocket, small and medium enterprises, and that's why we are here. That's why we are the lead sponsor. We want to associate with anything that has to do with SMEs. The problem most creatives have is most of us are not bankable. That's why I'm here. The first step about approaching a financial institution like us is that you have to bring yourself up to bankability. First step is be registered, even if it's a business name or a company. That's the first step, because the banks will not avail a creative that is not registered. So you need to be registered. That's why we now know that you are now, the next step is, after that, you keep your books, you keep records. And that's why we have, in Fidelity Bank, we have an SME desk in every branch of Fidelity Bank. In Anambra, we have 19 branches, and we have a dedicated SME staff in every branch.
Every branch, wow.
Yes, to handhold you.
So people just walk in and get loans?
You walk in, and the SME staff will guide you. First of all, if your business is not registered, we'll guide you on how to get it registered. From there, we now start. We advise you on the accounts we open. We have several variety of accounts that serve different purposes. As a starter, it depends on where you fall in, the pocket you fall in. We have the Fidelity Small Business Account, where you don't pay account maintenance charge. So you have access to loan in that. We advise you on the best way to go. Like, for example, if you fall into the micro sector, we could actually advise you to form a cluster, like a cooperative.
Okay.
It gets easier that way if you are in the micro space. That's a structure that makes you guys more bankable. Okay, micro is the normal, that's why Obioma, the normal tailor that does not have anything, maybe he's just hanging in somebody's shop. That's the micro person. So what you need to do is form a cluster. If you are, for example, you are the hemming person, the person that does one part of it, you form with the person that does this other part, and you guys will now approach a bank like Fidelity. Yes, like 10, the number, just so that you guys will now come together and be bankable. You walk into any Fidelity branch, and there are arrays of products that will serve you. And we handhold you. Where you are making mistakes, we have products that even have bookkeeping features in it. Yeah, we have an account called the Fidelity Premium Business Account, where once you open that account, you have access to Sage Accounting. Because of time, we can't say so much here, but we have products that can help anybody. So just walk into any Fidelity bank, just ask of who is the SME officer, and somebody's going to get across to you.
Definitely, that's key. So for everybody out here wondering how you could, get, most importantly, before the money, the advice on how to run a successful business. You can
Very
walk into
important.
any Fidelity bank and get to the SME desk. I'm already getting questions for our discussants. If you have your question, you could also write that out and send. I've gotten some questions already. I will read out not too long from now.
Okay, ushers, please be on the lookout. Okay, there are persons who are raising their hands. They would like to ask. You would like to speak into the microphone? Okay, and please take note of those who would like to jump on the mic to ask questions as we move along. We'll give opportunity for that, of course.
True, we'll do that.
Okay.
But that will be just 3 persons. But most importantly, if we out of the 3, you could also get your questions on paper and send. Besides the 3 that will speak into the mic.
Yeah. At this point, let us hear about the potential of Anambra Fashion Expo. This is the 2022 edition. This is the debut.
First,
Debut. So that means that we're going to have other versions, other editions.
Which will be bigger.
Bigger and better.
Definitely.
So now let us hear from different persons represented, different companies. At the point where you heard that Anambra Fashion Expo was going to happen, what was the impression you got? And why did you decide to be part of this? And what is the outlook on the short and long run? I think, who goes first?
No, let's start from our chief speaker
our
here.
Speaker. All right.
Okay, so just to be sure, what's the question again?
Okay. Asıl again, Anambra Fashion Expo.
Yes.
You see, up in Obodo Ibo, Houston, Texas, of course.
Uh-huh.
Your company is represented globally, and you decided to be the key speaker. For you to have taken up that charge,
Yes.
tell us why, and what's the outlook? What do you hope to achieve from
Okay.
being part of this?
So the key thing is, look, again, like I said in my little presentation, Nigeria is not tapping into the potentials that exist. You know, let's go back again into the AGOA legislation for those that know AGOA. AGOA is the African Growth and Opportunity Act, 2000, established by Clinton, and it has been extended over the years. And it allows countries like Nigeria to ship products to the USA absolutely duty-free. Now, what that means is simple. When Trump came in again, he imposed duties and levies on Chinese products. So a lot of companies in the USA that were relying on China to supply them no longer. They prefer to come to Africa. Take a country like Rwanda. Rwanda was doing so much in the fashion aspect under AGOA that the US basically had to suspend them. But what is Nigeria doing? Nothing. You see, the reason I came is not, look, I flew in here, I paid my everything, nobody, is because I see, you know, in the last 1 year, we've trained over 1,000 businesses, of which so many of them are selling in the US now. But the challenge is that a lot do not know the potentials that exist. You have businesses who are struggling. You have factories that are closing down. You have factories. If you look at what is going on in the present day Nigeria, you have businesses and factories that are struggling because they can't even afford diesel to keep their generator running. You see, I talk to businesses, so I have a good idea of what is going on. Now, if you are selling in the local market and your margins are constantly being eroded, a time comes when it's not going to work. You're going to shut down. And that's what we are seeing everywhere. A lot of companies are shutting down. Is that what we want to happen in Anambra State? No. So the potentials are there. The potentials are there to take a lot of this. You see, when you look at what is going on in Ghana, I tell you guys, you look, 2 days ago, one of the CEOs of the major shipping companies in Ghana came all the way from Ghana to see me in Lagos and said, look, what we are doing, they want us to come to Ghana to replicate it. First Bank in Ghana is the one that is pushing me to come and do similar things because the opportunity is massive. You have factories, you know, I think it was Cross River where they opened up a massive factory there. But a lot of them do not know how to find those buyers. So we need the knowledge. We need to know how to tap into this. And again, I have my good friend there, the regional coordinator for NEPC, Mr. Jackson. And these guys are doing so much. But what you see is that a lot of the factories that are supposed to take this to the next level, they don't understand. They don't have the knowledge. They don't have the connections. They don't have the know-how. And that is where the government really needs to step in. It's not about, look, export is not about everybody. It's not everybody out there that can export. It's about identifying. You can take a state, for example. The government should be able to identify 10 key companies, and then they empower them with what it takes. You now have the ability to take those 10 companies from maybe 10 employees to 1,000 employees. That is how job is created. It's not about, you can't help everybody. The Bible even says that, look, you will always have the poor. It is about how to identify those few and do what is needed to take them to the next level. And those people, because you have taken them to the next level, they now become employers of people everywhere. So again, the reason I came is because I see so much potential that Nigeria is not tapping into. And I think we can help in that regard.
Yeah, so just to plug into what he has said as well, it's important that we understand that these things are readily available. The people who are going to fund you are readily, in fact, they're looking for you to fund. The truth of the matter is, thank you to the NEPC as well. I got the NEPC grant last year as well, so thank you. And this is a huge grant. Because of that grant, we're currently setting up in the US. And this is very simple, right? Just go to the internet. If there's nothing you take out of this meeting, when you leave here, just agree and make up your mind that you need to start researching the opportunities available for you as a small business owner. There are so many, thousands and thousands of global organizations are looking for you with their money, with millions of dollars to give to you, but they can't find you. So why are we here? It was very important for me to be here because I need a lot of representatives from Anambra to start accessing these global opportunities. There's money everywhere for Africans, but there are just a few people who access these monies and these opportunities, even beyond money, beyond grants. There are so many global networks that are looking for you to position you where they are or where you're supposed to be. The product you have outside there, they are not even available anywhere else. They're only available in Nigeria. Why? But you're wearing American t-shirts. You're wearing, you're wearing Zara. You're wearing H&M. You're wearing Gucci and Prada. Why are they not wearing Akwete by Peju? Why are they not wearing Lily's House of Krish? Why are they not wearing Red Button? Why are they not wearing what you're selling? It's because you're nowhere to be found. So take the charge today and realize that people are looking for you. And the truth is, it doesn't even have to be a gigantic innovation. It can be scarves. You're making scarves. We have companies that make only scarves, and they are million-dollar companies. So whatever it is that you make, find the opportunities, find the people who are looking to fund you, apply for those opportunities, and start accessing them. There are so many, even in Nigeria, even the federal government of Nigeria. I have accessed so many grants from this federal government, but you're not looking for them. And they can't come to your door. You have to search them out on the internet and apply to these opportunities. I have helped thousands and thousands of startup founders like you to access these opportunities. But you need to start to help yourself, search the opportunities out, and start accessing them. The important thing is research your organization, because again, the competition is fierce. There's so many people who are accessing the opportunities, and they'll give it to the few who are ready. So research the companies who are doing the kind of things that you want to do globally. Find out what they're doing that you can innovate on. Like I said, right? They can't give it to everybody in Akwakwa. Find what is unique that you can innovate on. There's so many technology platforms that you can learn from. There's so many parts of fashion that you can start building your fashion business on. Find those platforms, find those differences, and start innovating on them, and start pitching yourself as that champion, fashion champion, right? So if you're a fashion champion in pattern making, start pitching yourself and start developing yourself along those lines, and then start accessing those opportunities. That's the only way. Thank you.
Just Before Lillian comes in, you mentioned that you get grants from different places, even the federal government gives you, yeah? So grants on kana hugachi konkada hugachi, just to confirm.
Grants be free money, that kwachia, free of charge, just to help you. Business is tough. Business is hard. And everybody understands that business is hard. And that's why they're giving out these grants to help you kick off your business. So access them, find out. In fact, go to the internet and search grants for fashion businesses in Anambra State, grants for fashion businesses in Nigeria, grants for creatives in wherever it is you are. You find loads of grant opportunities. Apply to them.
Okay. If you're vision driven, you agree with me that you always hunger for knowledge. Alvin Toffler says that the illiterate of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read nor write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. So the first time I heard about this Fashion Expo, I was excited. I said, wow, this is an opportunity for me to come and meet people of like minds, to collaborate with them. Because if you're comfortable where you are, you feel maybe you have gotten to the stage where your final stage, you will become redundant. Regardless of your position in life, regardless of your whatever you are, if you stop learning, you will become redundant. So I was excited that this fashion show is now happening in Anambra State because it's an opportunity for me to collaborate and network with other designers. So that's it.
Okay, as for Fidelity Bank, we're always excited to be associated with SME businesses. But we are seeing potential, and once we see programs like this, we see potential SME businesses that are going to grow from SME at this level to corporates in the future. I see core members everywhere. Those are things that motivate the bank, because we've won SME Bank of the Year for several years running, and this is an avenue. We have, just as I said earlier in my introduction, our products, we have a lot of products, and majority of people we see here are women, and there's this secret that a lot of people don't know about businesses. Women access credit cheaper than men. Yes, people don't know. For every loan that is given to a man, there is a concession given to a woman in the same industry. So I'm sure most of you don't know this. Yes, we have that. So I just it depends on what the person is doing. The person has to be doing something. That's why I said you have to be bankable. That's when you can be opened up to some of this array of products we have. So I will advise all of us that made it to this room today not to leave this place without at least thinking, what can I do at my little space, or the person beside me? What can we come together to bring together? We are very lucky. We have a governor that is SME friendly. You can tap into this. Young people, we can challenge our government. We can challenge bankers like us to give you products that will suit you. And we want to see more fashion houses come out out of this event. We want to see the next one that's going to happen next year. We want to see more fashion houses come out from it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Please put your hands
Thank
together.
you.
I think a lot of information is
Wow.
going down here, and I'm processing a lot. But
I'm actually blown away by
I'm
the
blown
things
away.
I'm hearing. Guess what? I asked him, because some people might be wondering what I asked, what I interjected when he was speaking. He said that women actually can access grant loans easier, for every man that gets a
Than
loan.
men.
Maybe 2 or more women have the concession. I asked about vulnerable groups, persons with disability, because I know that they're also vulnerable,
True.
and maybe persons who are into business and they just have to go by, they're moving against the odds. And with disability it's harder. That's why I had to interject that. And he
Very
did
true.
say that once they are bankable, once they meet the requirements, concessions can happen. So there's nothing stopping anyone.
I'm looking at a lot of questions that have already been passed to me from the audience here, and I'm seeing a lot of questions about bankability. How do you know when someone is bankable? What does it take to be bankable? I think that's going to help me take out like 3 questions I have from you already.
Okay.
So you did just explain that in detail.
Okay, just as I said when I did my introduction, bankability is very simple. You don't sit down in your little corner and think you have a big idea and you are bankable. No. First of all, start with register a business. That's the first step. And we have the cheapest one, that is the business name. It mustn't be a limited. A business name is good. You can access anything you want to access with that. Start with that. Then secondly, most importantly, have records of your transaction. Some people will tell you, when they come to our office, they tell you, I do 100 million, I do 30 million a year. You now say, let me see your record. There's no record to show. Yeah, basic things, basic records, inventory. You run your transaction mostly through the bank. Yes, because that's what gives you a credit history. That gives you a financial history. If you run 300 million cash transaction, you are not bankable. Basic. Open an account. Run your transactions through your account. Somebody wants to, you sell a cloth for, say, 50K. Don't collect cash. Tell the person, pay into my account. Yes, do that. And with that, from today, maybe as of today, you are entitled to a facility of, say, 1 million. You start running your transactions for 3 months. You just notice that when you are being assessed again, you are now entitled to 3 million. And from there,
and it keeps growing.
But if you do your transactions by somebody comes to your outlet and you collect cash, you just goes from that place to your vendor, you are not bankable.
Okay.
Ask credit history. Okay, the more a business gets credit, the more its loan profile grows. Okay, that's very important to note. And we have to recognize someone before we
Okay, go ahead.
we move on. We have with us here the Director, Center for Entrepreneurship Studies, Chukwuemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu University, Professor Vincent Ezabasile. Please let us give him a round. Thank you
Professor
so much,
Vincent.
Prof.
You're welcome, sir.
Thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
For being here.
Okay, so if you know earlier, we promised that we're going to get the microphone into the audience. Just
Absolutely.
3 people to speak. So quickly, I want to do that. I heard our convener, that's the CEO era, Adora Soludo, has a question.
Okay, so I'll be upstage while you do the did.
Okay, so I think I'll move around myself.
Okay.
I have a couple of questions here already. Let me just.
I'll be here for you. Do not worry.
Okay.
You're covered.
Okay.
So we'll get instant responses as you move on. I think that's better. After each question. So if you really wanted to ask, indicate to an usher. So we have our 3 persons waiting.
Thank you so much to all of you for your amazing words. My question is actually to, all of you, but particularly to Chioma. I wanted to talk about sustainability within the fashion industry. It's an industry that, it's largely polluted. As much as, the finance is important, knowing how to, design, taking all the right steps are important. I also think it's good to touch on sustainability. What's your advice to up-and-coming designers on how to make their brands, reliable for today, but also taking into account the future as well?
Please hold the thoughts. Let me just get the 3 questions and get back on stage. Okay, I think we have a second person. They're ready.
Good day, everyone. My name is David. I have a question to the bank. I won't say to you personally, but to the bank. Recently, I wanted to open a corporate account for my business. I'm a founder of a fashion brand in Okaya. And then I discovered something. I checked up online, and I didn't find any specific fee. But I came to the bank and they told me I have to pay a specific fee for them to search my name in the CAC, not to Fidelity Bank, but one of these banks. So I want to understand, when people approach a bank, can we know the requirement that they must come with? If they need to come with financial requirements, if they need to come with documents, can we know so that we can be better prepared? That's the first question. And then I have a question for Mrs. Choma. I want to know the name of the network and how to access them, and how a fashion brand can be well positioned. I want us to be specific somehow so that we don't have to, you've done all the searches, you've stressed yourself, so we don't have to stress ourselves too much again, and we don't have to know what is working. And then I also want to know, also to the chairman, many of us here, I don't think there's anyone here that doesn't want to earn in dollars. Our currency and the economy is down. How can we connect directly to use and to export and sell? And then generally, I want to know, what is the future of Nigerian fashion market in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years? What is the future? Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I think that question, the last question, is for soothsayers. When you say, what's the future, only a soothsayer can tell. But please hold the thoughts. I hope you're taking notes of the questions.
Yes, please.
Yeah, thank you. I have one more question.
Okay.
We asked for just 3. Please.
Are you counting that of the convener?
Okay, so the convener out of it.
Yes,
right?
please.
Okay,
yes.
so I have
yes.
one more person here.
Good afternoon. Mine is not just a question. It's just a question and intervention. My name is Arnold Jackson, and I work with Nigerian Export Promotion Council, the regional coordinator. He made mention of some of the things that borders on the export and revenue generation. Interestingly, the economy today beckons for export in the non-oil sector. Ndụka was talking about exporting in naira and getting back in dollars. That's where it is now. The economy is very, it's bleeding, and we need to do this. And as a result, that's even what the central bank is talking about, the RT200. If you export and repatriate your fund, you still give about 62 naira per dollar. And that's very interesting. But again, in the Nigerian Export Promotion Council, we've done quite a lot in the aspect of non-oil export promotion. We've done free services. We've done, she mentioned a grant. Last year, there were grants that were given out, for those in the SMEs, and that we have various grants. The one that was given out was a pre-export. We also have the post-export incentives. There's some kind of incentive because we know that you're operating in a very harsh economic environment. So you need some buffers to be able to compete globally. So those grants are meant for that purposes. The one we have is if you export, the current one now is if you export and repatriate your fund, you can also get, depending on the level of value addition. They also talk about the quality, the value proposition for your product, for your brand, is what makes the difference. There are a lot of interventions that the council is doing. We also engage the SMEs. We take them on global exposures by trade fairs and trade missions. There's fashion shows that we also attend, and we take some of the fashion enthusiasts or fashion practitioners, and they are also part of it. We pay some of the expenses for them. But above all, the quality is what sells the market. That's what we call Go Global, Go certification. The quality of our product is what makes the market, or is what sells at the market, and it's important we take notice and care about the product that we turn out of the market, because without that, we may not be able to compete. We'll have a return product, and once your product is rejected or returned, you pay for that return. If you want it to be destroyed or burnt, you pay for that destruction. So it's a bad situation. So we always insist that we do the due diligence to be able to take the right product, and that will be acceptable globally without any other problem. I wish I have a bit of time to talk a little bit more on, but because of the time, I need to leave here. But we have an office in Oka. I'm not in Oka. We have an office in Oka. You can go to our office and ask as many questions. It's at the secretariat. the state secretariat, we have an NDPC office there. Please, you make yourself available anytime you want anything from us. Our services are free. When we call for service, we do free. And we hold people in various sectors, not only in fashion, in the non-oil sector, to be able to earn this dollar we're talking about and sell in naira. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I know at the beginning of the
Thank
event,
you.
put your hands together for him. At the beginning of the event, we talked about networking, meeting people around you, talking to somebody close to you, and knowing what they are into. Your helper might just be seated close to you. Thank you so much, sir. So the final question.
Good day, everyone. I am Mrs. Ogonaikewelu from Nobi, Demili South local government area, Anambra State, Nigeria. I am, by the grace of God, I'm CEO of Malicha Modeling Agency, an existing modeling agency in Anambra State since 2015. And by the grace of God, I've had some fashion events. I've represented Nigeria in Africa, and which I worked with Ministry of Art and Culture. They endorsed my program I did 2019, and also Commission of Art and Culture here. They will know me, I have a record there on Malicha Modeling Agency on an event, Zuri Africa. Now, where I want to really channel this, my suggestion, we had a lot of people there seated right there discussing about fashion, and I came here because I own a modeling agency. And I didn't see where we have a structure there, because last time I remember we are going to have a runway later today. And one thing I know about modeling agency is that lots of people look at it as pageantry, and I don't look at it that way. I look at it as part of fashion. We are part of the things we're talking about, okay? I think it's also a way of letting people from this part of the world know that people also make money from modeling, apart from the normal miss we always used to, okay? I'm not a fan of pageantry. I'm a fan of fashion models. I always let people know clear about that. Okay, now, where is our space in all this thing? Well, nobody is talking about it. So people want to go into this modeling, but they don't have a real definition of it. Where are the fashion people putting this part of creativity in? Because some of these ladies walk into the mirror, they look at themselves and they see, I'm beautiful. I want to be a model. And I begin to ask them, what are the basic things you need to be a model? And the only thing they are good into is how beautiful they look. The last time I remember, modeling is lots of creativity. And I think we need to also channel part of our energy that side. Is always going to pull Anambra to the global level, just like the way we are working. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Wow.
Sorry, I didn't exactly get the question. But
Okay,
was that
it was a
suggestion?
contribution.
Okay, contribution.
Yes. And of
Wow.
course, Kamsi,
Thank you.
remember that when we graced the stage the first time,
Truly.
we gave the opportunity, we did a sort of random sampling of different fashion sectors.
And we missed out modeling.
Yes, but
we missed it
at
out.
some point I asked what is left. So it's good that she stood up for the models. And Chioma mentioned something. She said,
Okay.
if models are not so respected or appreciated, you champion the cause, which she has done. So I
True.
think that the lady there deserves another round of applause.
No disrespects to the models. I want to apologize on behalf of myself and Ify. When we started off, we were calling a lot of branches of fashion, and we missed out modeling. Even though we kept asking, what part of it is missing. But that's one very important part of fashion.
Even when you modeled here, you remember?
Yeah, I did, and I did the
You hit
runway
the
walk.
runway.
Yeah.
And the runway, of course, by the time we get to the point where the runway show will take off, you wouldn't believe your eyes, because we have our team ready to get us in the runway mood. But just to remind you, before we start getting answers from the stage and exit the stage, Professor Vincent Ezabasili, the Director, Center for Entrepreneurship Studies from Chukwemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu University, is here present with his students. I think we need waves from the students. Please, if you are from COOU, please wave. Woo! Give them a round, please. I suspected that they were because, yeah, you're well dressed in the Anambra way. Thank you. Of course, we are here joined as well by the Director of Diaspora Affairs at the Ministry of Diaspora Affairs, Indigenous Artwork, Culture, and Tourism. Neka Nwankwo JP. Give her a round. Please, can we get a wave?
You're welcome,
Thank
ma'am.
you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. We have more questions, so shouldn't we just throw everything out in the ring and then start getting, okay, you
Thinking
forget?
the load might be too much. You forget some of them.
Okay,
so I think you
let's
just address the ones on ground already. Okay.
All right, so who shoots first?
I think you got the first question.
Okay,
so
Chioma.
Chioma,
All right.
begin.
Thank you. So let me just chip into the modeling agency. So if nobody is talking about your industry, champion the cause, right? Start talking about it. Build the platform. You can export your models, right? So Nigerians have been modeling for global fashion brands on global runways, recently. So start the advocacy. Start talking about it. Build a platform and people will come to you. All right? When I started talking about sustainable fashion, a lot of people didn't understand what I was saying. I missed out on a lot of opportunities until I started to talk about it internationally, and then it started to grow in Nigeria. So build that platform and own it. Now, to answer the question around sustainable fashion, so you find out sustainable fashion is really about being mindful of your production processes. So understanding the effect of what you do on the environment, understanding the effect of your sewing, your cloth dyeing, your shoe manufacturing, if you're paying your workers right, if they're in a conducive environment, are you taking care of your people? So sustainability is really about doing the right thing, ethical production, responsible production, and operations, right? So most of us in Nigeria, to be honest, are almost sustainable, because we don't have large-scale productions that endanger people's lives. We don't have this kind of large-scale companies that endanger people's lives. So most of us really are sustainable. But then if we become very mindful of what we do, we understand that we have to amplify the work that we do to be more sustainable. So there's not really 100% sustainability, level. You just keep growing in being sustainable. So continue to handcraft. So handcraft, again, is a sustainability area. Using sustainable materials like the local materials that we have, the hand-woven materials, all of that is sustainable. Now the next level is finding out exactly how you can scale your sustainable venture. So it's not enough to just produce one bag or one shoe or buy one akwete. It's about scaling that work that you do, because if you're scaling it, it means our environment is getting better for it, right? Remember that sustainability is about taking care of the environment. So the more you scale the sustainable venture that you have, the more the environment is taken care of and people are more empowered, right? So that's next level. Again, technology has come to make it easier for us to be more sustainable. Why are we not? I go back to technology a lot, because that, whether we like it or not, that's the way forward. That's what we're into right now. So the more you use technology, the more scalable you become. Because with technology, you can reach thousands and millions of people around the world. So for instance, now we're building a tech platform where other people can rent your clothes. So you know how we have red carpet shows every day, movie premieres, we have traditional weddings, all the costumes you wear, all the beads, all the crown, all of these things that we wear, you wear only once and keep in your wardrobe. Your mommies have all these beads that nobody touches. We can make money from it. That's sustainability. That's sustainable fashion. That's circular fashion, right? You can rent all those beads. You can rent all those clothes that you wear once. You can even rent to wear on your red carpet. If you have one event, you don't need to start sewing the dress afresh. You can quickly go to the platform, rent a dress that you can wear one day and return it. Someone else rents again. If I have a traditional wedding, I don't need to buy more beads or buy more clothing. I can rent what someone has worn before. That's what technology can do. Again, like I said before, you can use technology to start empowering other people in wherever it is you are. So you can even start running a technology fashion school, right? And start teaching people how to create patterns with technology, and start teaching people how to create illustrations with technology. So there's several ways to scale your sustainable venture. The important thing, like I said, is research. So keep researching your industry to find out exactly how you can use technology to scale it. The question around the networks is part of the reason why we are where we are today is because we want to be spoon-fed. And unfortunately, that's not taking us anywhere. So if you're asking me to give you examples of networks, I will give you the examples because that's why I'm here. But again, I'll leave you to go and do your research. There are millions and millions of networks that support creative industries around the world. So if I'm going to give you like 3 examples, and that's like 1.0000% of what we have out there. First, join the British Council. The British Council is what do you call it now? They empower a lot of creative startups in West Africa. So follow them on Instagram. I think their Instagram handle is NG British Arts. They have a lot of grants programs, creative programs that can empower you in different sectors. Follow the Tony Elumelu Foundation. They have a lot of grant programs and other opportunities for creatives across Africa. Follow the Assembly Hub. The Assembly Hub is a creative venture as well. They have a lot of programs and grant opportunities for creatives. So just do your research and find out which other organizations around the world that you can plug into. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We're rounding off in just a few minutes. Before you know it, we're off. So we need to throw in all the other questions so that our speakers can pick on anyone and answer as many. So
I'm looking towards a way where we could have them answer all those questions and details, but because of time, I'm just going to address it. I'm trying to filter the questions, to who and who to go to. I have some questions here for our chief speaker, Mr. Ndukaude. The first question says, does the U.S. allow to export any product at all, not minding the particular standard, or do they have, standard fits for the kind of products that should be sent in there? And also, someone here sent a question, says, can one also export food items like stockfish, egusi, and the rest of them to buyers in the United States of America and other countries that allow exports? So I don't, Mr. Ode, please just react quickly.
Okay, so let's abridge the responses because we have to move on. Yes, and yes.
I should respond in seconds. Okay, to answer your question, yes, there are standards that need to be followed, and again, like anything, there has to be, there are processes and procedures that must be followed. So I believe we have one of our staff here. Just reach out to her. She will give you our contact, and with that, you'll be able to know what to do. Now, on export of food, stock, and all those things, our partner shipping company in Lagos, they do over 200 million a month exporting dry fish. So when I tell you that, look, the potentials are there, you just need to know what to do. I don't talk from a point of view of theory. I talk from a point of view of practical. So without knowing what to do, you obviously cannot do anything. So, but let me just, 2 seconds to talk on the sustainability question. I think sales is what sustains any business. If you don't have sales, you will close up. And the only way for you to make sales, again, like I say, is, you need to differentiate yourself, be unique. Don't try to do everything. And again, for Nigeria and let me say Anambra, we need to start thinking about industrializing our fashion industry. You can't continue to have tailors everywhere, the so-called obiomas everywhere, and expect to become a force in the fashion industry, of which it's $1 billion industry. We need to start thinking of government stepping in to help some of these industry people to really scale. Thank you.
And that's coming from our chief speaker, who's also part of the panel, Ndukaude, the MD, CEO of Export and Sale LLC, Houston, Texas. Thank you so much for being here. And also, we appreciate Lillian Chiamaka, the founder and chief designer, Lily's House of Creation. Thank you also for sitting pretty. Ndubisi Achebe from Fidelity Bank, thank you as well. And of course, Chioma Obudimpa the CEO of Red Button, and as well multiple award-winning author and entrepreneur. What do we say and what do we do to appreciate them? Woo! Wow!
Thank you so much. I think this has been a very insightful session. And please put your hands together one more time as our speakers return to their seats.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate your time.
It's really amazing.
And the insight.
Wish we could ask more questions, but then, for the want of time.
Okay, we'll have a photo session right now.
Okay.
So our speakers, please come back. Sorry.
Can we
sorry
have it
for that.
here? Okay,
yes,
okay.
We'll just stay.
Quickly.
And of course, have a photo session here upstage. So please, if you're seated, why not take a selfie now? This is photos time. You can take a selfie, snap yourself, those around you, document this event, tell the world that this is happening. The hashtag is hashtag AFE2022. That is hashtag AFE2022. Can we have the convener upstage as well, please? And the principal organizers joining us for the photo session. So we're going to check the hashtags, and I believe there should be a giveaway for those who are sharing posts from this event to tell the world that this is happening. This is Anambra Fashion Expo 2022, holding here at the International Convention Center, Oka, Anambra State. And of course, this event is organized by Aura, and we have our sponsors proudly represented. This is the masterclass rounding off. And we have the runway show coming up in about an hour's time. So do not sleep on this. You'll have a lot of fun, a lot of excitement. Remember, the exhibition is taking place just outside the convention hall.
So please keep networking, keep speaking to the people close to you. Take pictures, walk around, talk to someone. We're out here to network.
Hashtag 2022.
Yeah, whatever
Very
you post,
important.
whatever you post on social media, please use the hashtag AFE2022.
And still appreciating all our exhibitors.
Thank you so much.
Those
Thank you so
represented.
much.
Thank you so much,
Thank you so
Aura,
much,
for
Chama.
all you
Thank
do
you.
for the fashion industry
Really nice
in
hearing from
Anambra
you.
and
Thank you so much,
Nigeria.
Mr. Ndubisi.
We appreciate
Trust me, I'll be
you.
knocking at your door next week.
No, you said something, and I
I'll be
know
at the
everyone
SME
wants to
desk
hear what you just said. I
next
said
week.
thank you to Aura, and she said
Thank
something.
you so much, Lily.
This is just the
Thank you.
beginning.
Please put your hands together. Fashion is taking a new turn. Thank you. That's the CEO of Aura Fashion Brand, the biggest Nigerian fashion brand right now in the Great Britain, taking it to another level.
Absolutely. Okay, so now is the time for you to take a perusal of this amazing edifice, the International Convention Center here in Oka, Anambra State. So do not just sit, network, go out, go to the exhibition stand, patronize our exhibitors, look around, have fun, take selfies, please.
The next session is going to be starting in about 2 hours, 3 hours.
1
thereabout.
hour's time, 1
Oh,
hour.
1 hour time.
1 hour. In the next 1 hour, that's
the
by
next
what
1 hour
time?
will be
We'll be back.
kicking off the runway session, where we get to see lots and lots of models who have been practicing, do the strutting.
Please give me space. Let me tell them what's gonna happen.
Okay.
This is what you're gonna
Show
see when you come
them.
back.
Show them. Show them. Come on. It is what it is. So not gonna be seeing a lot of it. And not just the ladies, we'll see the guys too do their thing, you know. I don't know how to do this, but I know it's somehow like this. And then we pose.
Oh my God.
And they do that thing for people that have chest, you know. But I ain't got that.
I'ma get say you sure for me. Say me can we drama.
DJ is ready for us.
So do they see what this feel
I
like?
no good and good. Make a carry your luggage. I define you for this. For this I no drugs, I fit to contain. falling for love. Overdose me, your love they overdose me. Now you, I want me love you, waiting come follow low. Overloading, I'll be overloading. Your bank account, money plenty, tell me the amount.
Don't tell me love would taste like this. Got my money in my pocket like this. Bitcoin in my wallet like this. Wisdom in my knowledge like this. Follow God, I know they follow man. But you I might have to consider. Trips to LA, take a photograph. She signed by me, then it's another round.
Live to die another day for you,
Let us
baby.
use that as a
My casting
bet
over ways for you, baby.
as we
The only
appreciate.
time that you say that you hate me
Yes,
is when I
we-
take the last slice of
definitely.
pastry. Now I'm on the run,
I want-
run. Loving you till kingdom come.
All right, I want
But
to
you
start. I
drive
want to
me
start off
crazy,
with
send someone, still my
one of our lead
baby.
sponsors of this event, Fidelity Bank. Thank you so much for this, making this happen with your partnership. Amazing one. Also to Delt Foundation, maximum appreciation to you. Also to the Ministry of Culture, Entertainment and Tourism. Thank you so much.
And talking of the Ministry of Culture and Entertainment and Tourism in Anambra State, ably represented, we have, of course, the Honorable Commissioner, Mr. Don Onyenji. Thank you so much for your support.
Thank you, Mr. Commissioner.
And of course, we have principal officers of that ministry here present. Dr. Laz Okafo, the permanent secretary. Thank you so much for your
Thank you
presence.
so much. And also to Mr. Emma Umakana, the Director of Tourism. Thank you so much.
And
Thank
of
you
course,
so much.
Mrs. Nneka Nwankwo, Director of Diaspora Affairs and Entertainment, is also here. Thank you.
And also Mrs. Stella Anna, the Director of Hotel and Hospitality. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Not forgetting the Director of Arts and Culture, Mrs. Chioma Ifediora, as well as the Director of Accounts, Mrs.
Holly
Nikoli
Iwobi. Thank you so much. And also to the Director of Admin, Mrs. Jane Ajebu. Thank you so much. And also the Director of PRS, Mrs. Rose Odinapa. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
And just to remind, just in case you're coming in and you did not hear, those who made it happen for us, those who put the host in shape for this event. My hair was done by Adorable Sparks Morova, ASM Natural Hair Salon, the foremost natural hair salon here in Anambra State. And I wear this white corporate dress was made by M. Hives Design, all the way from Lagos. Of course, my makeup is by Rosie Glam, as well photography by Best Photography.
And I want to say big shout out to Bosco Clothing. Bosco Clothing, everything I'm putting on right now was made by Bosco Clothing. And they have a stand outside already. That's one of the biggest fashion brands out here in the Southeast, making it happen in 3 different locations in the Southeast, in Enugu, in Anambra, and in Aba, making it happen. Bosco Clothing.
Okay, we have children models as well.
Oh, honey and kids. Well done, well done. We'll be seeing them on the runway tonight, on today, obviously not tonight. So let's have fun. Myself and Ify, we're going to be returning and having you guys on the other side. Thank you so
I'm feeling vibe.